coming at the end of this episode. I know I've said that a lot lately, but they've been killing it lately, so don't blame me. Come on, I'm just one person. Anyways, let's jump into it. This is going to be a lot of fun. First up, if I manage to do this okay. First up, we got some stuff from Nick. So Nick says, in this case, the guys have an epic creator program in the works for launch. I have spoken to TSG at decent length about the creator program on the way. It's pretty awesome. And as Nick says here, the creator program the guys have coming for launch is cracked. Once it's announced, every creator will want to be shilling ILV. He could not be more true. I think it's going to be very exciting in the future when this thing comes out and everyone and their mother and their dog and everyone is talking about ILV for the next several months and hopefully indefinitely. But we all know every game, everything has a cycle. How's it going, G Hamster? Great to see you here. All right. Well, this episode is going to be not super duper quick, but it's going to be relatively concise. So I'm looking forward to it. The next thing is Nick posted a picture of a holo ramfire that was caught. This was caught pretty much the day, or maybe it was a testing. I think it was a testing thing, but we know that a dark holo Mephisto was caught like a day after the holos dropped. So really crazy, but this one is very, very cool. Capture number 586. I'm assuming the capture number goes across all ramfires. It doesn't have a unique one for holos. Although you could look on chain and calculate that if you wanted to, which would be pretty cool. Production 0, which actually means production 0 is usually when they're fused, I think, or they're test made. I've gone through quite a few of these, but I think the capture number is also 0 if it's fused. So I can't remember, but just take my word on that. It means something important. Okay, so the next thing is Dimitri showing the differences between holos and dark holos, and these are really cool. You can see the dark holo Mephisto there. At first, I didn't absolutely love this effect where it transitions in and out and that sort of stuff, but it has really grown on me. I've really grown to quite enjoy it, and I like the way it differentiates between dark holo and holo in this way specifically. So there's that. I think that's really, really cool. And then holos just look cool in general. I think it's a really nice effect. And as the team has said in the past, it's something that no other video game has really pulled off or anything like that. I think the team has nailed it. I love it personally. And so I'm really looking forward to all this going on mainnet. Holos feel so special. They made the game so much more fun. And I cannot wait for the future it holds. So the next thing is Aaron says here that the weapons are changing. And here's the kicker. They are special. They're specific affinities only. It is a very cool system. So honestly, we don't know exactly how many of them there are or anything like that. But given that they are specific affinity only, then that would lead me to believe that, well, there's 20 affinities, in 25 with the basics, I think. I'm crazy. Someone tell me if I'm wrong. How many affinities are there in total, including the basics? Anyways, I think there are 20. I think there are 20 in total, including the basics. And every single class has its own weapon. And so what does that mean? Do you have a fighter weapon and you have a sword with 20 different affinities? Shock, Inferno, Tsunami, you know what I mean? That would be way too many weapons. So I don't think that's necessarily the case. And maybe they can transition between them or something like that. I mean, you can get them all, but there's really only a couple of items. I don't know. Or maybe just you can't get a gauntlet that's also shock. That's just the sword. The sword is shock, and that's just how it is. And the staff is always verdant, right? And so you split up the affinities that way. I think that's how they're going to do it, which makes them for some really interesting deck building type stuff. But as Gauntlet's going to become a bit more of the focus, it won't matter as much. And I do look forward to seeing how the Ranger themselves actually fits into Gauntlet. That's something I keep forgetting about. Gauntlet, I'm very excited for. I'm like, how does the Ranger work? Does everyone get the Ranger and some of the items you can pull are weapons and suits? And how does it actually combine together? Or maybe you get that on the carousel if they have that. I have no idea. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be really cool. All right. So the next thing we've got here, is Aaron doesn't have gauntlet leaks for us yet, but they've been developing new features that will be launched after the proof of concept, and it will make it super fun. Really cool to hear that they've got like the proof of concept planned out, but they've also got other features coming in the future planned out. So those features might not be in for the launch of the game, but it's great to see that it's going to be iterated on like everything else. So I'm looking forward to that. And his favorite drone augment is Aaron just wins. It makes the game super unpredictable, and I always seem to come out on top. And that's interesting. Okay, really think about it. He said drone augment. Maybe he's referring to the normal augments, the ones you attach to the alluvials, but he mentioned the drone. So maybe the drone's playing a larger role in this than the little legends or whatever they're called played in TFT, which I think would be pretty neat, but it's hard to envision what that would actually look like. So that should be quite interesting. The next thing is Torex actually suggested here is adding dark holo and holo blueprints. Okay, basically like on your Illuvium 0 plot, you might be able to find an atlas, and so you can research the atlas blueprints, but you might also be able to find a holo atlas, and you create the holo blueprints. And as Aaron says here, it's a really good idea. I personally think it's a fantastic idea, but he just can't load up the art team without confirming it. In theory, they have one holo effect that they apply to alluvials, and so it's actually relatively easy for them to do, besides all the rendering time. And so in theory, maybe you could do the exact same for all of the ranger suits and ranger skins. If that is the case, and it's not a big overhead for the team, it would be a massive, massive buff to land and the potential for land. So that is one of the most bullish things to come out of today's episode. And if you guys think about an easy way to do it, then let the team know maybe. Maybe that'll help them out. So there's that. So Aaron explains again, and I like explaining this over and over because it's probably the most complicated concept in the entire Illuvium, tokenomics, economics, whatever you want to call it. It is one of the most complicated concepts, so I like it when Aaron explains it. He does quite a good job. Basically, a landholder has 100 solons they want to sell. They think a good price for them is $1 each. They put them up for sale. Another player buys them, and the landholder that sold them gets $100. He sold 100 solon for $1 each, $100. The only complexity is that when they do that sale, the actual size of the sale is 2,000 solon. The price is still $1 each, but 1,900 of those solon are bought from the DAO. And so he puts up the sale. On his end, he sees 100, and he's going to get $100 if it sells. But on the buyer's end, they're buying 2,000 of them. But the buyers outnumber the landowner sellers anyway. So it seems a bit weird, but it's not actually that crazy. And so that's a really good way to look at it. So I always love it when he explains that. How's it going, Crypto Quick Chat? So here's some more discussions on land. I think this is quite important. The land discussions are very ongoing. Let's put it that way. So Aaron states that the DAO has the ability to adjust the fuel rails. Ideally, they want the current market price to be about 50% of the top rail. So if the top rail for a stage 1 travel is like $1, then ideally he wants those travels to be going for 50 cents on average, meaning that the top rail is not too high, not too low, it's not too far away, and the market has found an equilibrium, essentially. If the price spikes above the top rail, then technically landholders aren't selling, only the DAO is, which is bad. So we would want to adjust the top rail to match that new equilibrium. It's quite dangerous to a certain extent, especially soon after launch. I don't think you adjust it soon after launch because that's very different conditions to when everyone's built up their land, but it's something to consider. Again, to rebalance that and everything, it needs to be approved by ICCP, and they hope to adjust the top rail early on because things are unpredictable, right? But once it becomes stable, they won't do anything. They hope it just works itself out over time, generally speaking. If demand increases a lot, then hopefully they can adjust actually like fuel production rather than the top rail or anything like that. That would be the best way to control the market for sure. So the next thing is Aaron says that we don't have the effects on all the alluvials yet. I didn't actually realize this. So not all of them have the effects on them. There are many unfinished art pieces, but trust me, he watches more than 500 new updates each day come through the team with new art, songs, VFX models, animations, etc. The CCs are busting their asses. Really cool. 500. I mean, we don't know how far he's exaggerating. Maybe he's not. We have a pretty large art team, but 500 updates on different assets is one of the greatest strengths of Illuvium. I'm glad that Illuvium is not losing its roots there, because it's got the best art in Web3 and some fantastic art compared to really major Web2 products and things like that as well. So there's that. The next thing from Aaron. Aaron's got some great stuff today. Okay, I just had to go through so many of them. Aaron said that there's barely a month to get to launch, and in this time they have to make fast decisions about things. For anyone who's not aware, there have been a lot of crazy ongoing discussions regarding the changes to the airdrop systems and who's getting what points, and if it devalues the time of the previous people and things like that. And I'll be talking a lot about this sort of stuff on a Twitter space in about 2 hours. But really the big thing here is Aaron wants to address this. And he's saying they are paying people to test, and if we change things up, it's only because we need to do something to help improve the game. Once we go live, things will be less fast in terms of quick decisions. But right now, we've got a lot of things going on, and we're all burning ourselves out massive workloads to get some extra features so the game is even better. There is zero animosity towards the community from us. We are trying to be bad guys, and we are trying to make the best game possible. They need to move quick. If that breaks a little bit of stuff, then that's fine too. But getting the game into the position it needs to be for the launch is priority number one, and the team is not going to lose that. Okay. So the other thing is, Wind asked if a holo is always the thing you will see in the overworld when you're hunting down alluvials, for example. And Jeremy says that it isn't always. A tier 5 stage 3 will show up before a tier 1 stage 1 holo alluvial, for example. Here is also an example of what these things look like. That's the regular alluvial at the left. In the middle, you get the holo alluvial, which looks really nice. The holo effect tends to look even better in-game and when everything's animated and moving than in imagery and things like that. And the dark holo effect, again, looks even better in-game. So there's the three there for anyone who's unaware. Screenshot that. Share this video around. I don't care. Do whatever. That's it there. And if you haven't started playing Illuvium yet, link in the description down below. You got to go play this game. Okay. The next thing is Jeremy has said that Master Shard and Dust will change further as we get closer to open beta. If anyone's watching this and wondering when they can get Master Shards again, maybe they'll cut the price at some point soon. And so stock up Dust, stock up Resplendence and things like that. And you might be able to get cheaper Master Shards in the future. You never know. I'm not promising anything, and they haven't told me anything either. So next, we've got a lot of stuff from Kieran themselves, where Kieran does a lot of addressing of the bots and cheating and hackers conversation and stuff like that, which came up over the past few days. So Kieran says that people using bots is one thing, and they're very hard to detect, especially if they're mimicking a normal user. If our system detects an abnormality, then we can flag and ban them. People using cheats is completely different. It is easily identifiable, and they will be banned. So anyone using a cheat is quite literally wasting their time, which is a really great way to say it. How's it going, Judy? And they couldn't, even if they wanted to ban the alluvials, they could definitely ban the account and with the help of IMX, probably restrict them from moving anything anywhere. But yeah, there's that. So the next thing is Kieran said there are 3 people in the top 300 players that have under 50 hours. Okay. Everyone in the top 300 has played a lot in the game and they deserve to be there. Yes, the data is starting to look less flat because some people are getting lucky, but it's nothing to be alarmed about. The same thing can happen on launch. One person puts $100 in and captures a ramfire, another 1,000, and the only difference is time versus money. This has a lot of elements of luck in the game, and that's just the nature of Illuvium, which is perfectly fine. There's nothing we can do about that. If you don't like that sort of game, then you can go and play something else, and that's fine as well. It's just, it is what it is. Not every game is for every person, and we have to accept that. Some will get luckier than others, and that proposal is very frustrating, whereas investing time equals giving money, which isn't really the point of the game. The game is not a job, and it has never been advertised that we'll earn the exact same as everyone else if you put the same amount of time. Some will get lucky, others will not. Welcome to the game you're playing. And that is one of the most exciting parts of Illuvium, honestly. For me, at least, I love the idea that I could go in and find a Dark Holo Ramfire. It might never, ever happen, but I like the idea that it could happen. Not even like financially speaking, just the moment you see that thing would be really, really cool. So the next thing Kieran has said is the numbers show a very healthy airdrop distribution. You'll be rewarded for your grind accordingly. Yes, a few people will get lucky, but that's not too dissimilar to someone who pays 10k to capture all Aluvials in a holo, and that some other dude gets lucky and pays 2k. It's the type of game Overworld is and makes it more exciting. Are you really going to quit now when you think of dark, like everything like I just said? To be fair, I do read these messages before I put them up, so... Besides just the fact that there are no bots, actual liquidity, and a decent circulating supply in our token should be attractive enough for airdrop farmers. It's not a flat release of the token, which should be very exciting for most airdrop farmers. Probably a first for Web3 gaming airdrops, to be honest. Yeah, most of them are just like TGEs, right? Into stage 3 ramp and you've only found tier 1, 2, and 3 sad things. You sound like you've been really unlucky, to be honest. I entered a stage 2 run just the other day. I found one tier 4 and pretty much all tier 3s. So I found a Cardulox. That was the tier 1 I found. It was the most fun I've ever had in the overworld. So that was really hype. And yeah, 2 people have got a Dark Holo tier 5 stage 3. Although a lot of Aluvials have been minted, so it's not that outlandish. How many airdrop points do the top 300 have? I'd have to guess over 100k, maybe a bit less, but that's a guess. I'm working on calculating it, but I haven't yet, so that's my guess so far. Okay, and now we get to some of the announcements that have come from Illuvium over the past few days. Firstly, Arena and Overworld updates. We got Holo and Dark Holo Aluvials, Ethereal Aluvials, encounter cost adjustments, which is one of my favorites. That was really cool. They always felt overly expensive, and I kind of get it. Maybe they shouldn't be cheap. I don't know. Fusion and crafting, where everything's been adjusted a bit. Bonding curve fixes, so the capture chances and things like that have been fixed, thank God. And the economy changes, where the master shards have gone to a 10x cost in dust. They're actually not more expensive in terms of USD, but they are significantly more expensive in terms of time investment, especially since I don't think you can buy dust on the Aluva deck. So there's that too. And a bunch of the fusion and crafting costs have been adjusted. I think shards overall became a lot cheaper to produce as well. So there's that. It might be higher than 100k. 100k is really hard to achieve unless you hit a lucky Dark Holo. So you don't overestimate it. We'll see when I calculate it. Maybe I'll be wrong. They've also made some balancing refinements to their previous update from today. So they lowered the support rate of Lynxes. I wasn't there for whatever that was, but that sounds hilarious. So that's really funny. And they increased the number of non-holo, non-ethereal alluvials to 3. I have no idea why they ever would have made it 1 to begin with. Part of the excitement's finding other things in there. I know it's the most rare alluvial in the overworld, but still, come on. But I'm glad they changed it quickly. They changed it like 2 hours later. 4 hours later. Yeah, 4 hours later. Loyalty airdrops are now live. If you have not claimed your loyalty airdrop, go to this link from the Illuvium Discord. Don't click any dodgy links on Google and things. Be careful. Go to this link, connect your wallet, and it will tell you how much you are owed. Don't forget to check your other wallets too. You never know how much each of them is owed. So loyalty airdrop, very exciting. As far as the waiting, there's a lot of discussion on it. I think stakers were a little bit bummed out. Landholders I saw mixed thoughts. I think Illuvium Beyond, I didn't see a whole lot from them talking about it in general, to be honest. Holo and Dark Holos now have points. Some really crazy stuff. Tier 2 stage 3 holos are insane, 12,500 points. Tier 3s are a little bit underwhelming in my opinion. I really feel like their stage 3 could have been bigger. Tier 4 stage 3 holos are pretty awesome. And the tier 5 stage 3 holos obviously pretty awesome. I really think some of these should have been higher, maybe. But the Dark Holos are insane. So a tier 2 stage 3 Dark Holo, 125,000 points, more than some people have gotten playing the entire airdrop. And tier 5, stage 3 Dark Holo is pretty much you're going to be in like the top 5 if you find one of them. So that's pretty much how that goes. So they fixed issues for the Holos and Dark Holos. And they also have little icon next to them when you're chasing them, which was awesome. Awesome. Links is for everywhere. That sounds really funny, to be honest. I'm kind of bummed out I missed out on that. I would have loved to complain about that too. You know me. I complained that the capture chances enough. But they're not too bad now. They felt better after the updates. I still don't love them, not for tier 5 captures at least, but everything else is pretty good. So some other stats are top 10 in points have 360.6 hours played on average. Top 100, 261.7 hours played on average. And top 500 has 180 hours played on average. So even though only 3 of them are below 50 hours played, the average is still way above that, 3x that, which is really crazy. So I love to see that. There was also a bunch of other bug fixes and bugs and things like that. And Kieran also put out a courtesy announcement. As some of you already know, we've detected some players engaging in unfair practices. We want to reassure everyone that our systems are actively monitoring for such activities. If your account is found to be cheating, it will be permanently banned and you will lose any airdrop points. Attempts to transfer Aluvials to alternate accounts will also result in bans and removal from the airdrop. You know how easy it is to find all the wallets you've sent your Alluvials to? Like, seriously, don't bother. We're committed to maintaining a fair and enjoyable gaming experience for everyone. Thank you for your understanding and support. Whoops. So we got all that already. All right. Next up, we've got some community content that I wanted to highlight for this week. It is pretty addictive, Judy. I definitely agree. I wish I've had more time to play, but I just haven't. But I can see I'm seeing that sentiment a lot, which is the most exciting thing about it. Is people are saying, "I just love playing the game," and I know many of them are here for the airdrop, but there are many that just really enjoy the game as well, and they like the bonus of the airdrop. No one's going to lie and say that, "Oh, I can win some money." That's a bad thing, right? Like, so people are enjoying that, but people are just enjoying playing the game. We currently have about 6,000 daily active users, which is really good for a PC game, generally speaking. Who knows how many of them are from that China farm, but I think a lot fewer than people might expect. Okay, so next one we've got is there's this video here where he creates a really awesome Verdant team. I've been telling everyone that Verdant is like a shortcut to kind of like a brain dead team in the game. It's just the heal is so good. And it's not going to win absolutely everything. Like if you come up against a Ramfire, you're pretty much boned, but I can imagine it doing really well. So I definitely recommend going and watch this video. I haven't actually seen it myself. Aluvial has been posting unique wallet Aluvial holders over time. And it's a very steady growth over the long term. So it's great to see that new people are jumping into Illuvium every single day. If we say that 2 months was about 20,000, then another 2 months, 40,000. I mean, we could hit 100,000 by the end of the year. Mainnet, I expect to bring a lot more people as well, but very, very cool to see. The next thing is from G Hamster, where he says, did you know Illuvium is already in the top 50 most played games on the Epic Game Store? And this is before the official game launch on the 25th of July. I did not know that, and I can't wait to check those stats later because that is really cool. That'll be something really fun to monitor. I'm looking forward to it. So the last one here is the leak, okay? And this thing blew my mind a little bit. There was a comment from, I think, Lowenhertz, which explained it a bit better, which was really cool. But I'm looking forward to this. All right, this is really, really cool. So, that this is the Ranger's Aluvial. It's not attacking, it's not running, it's not anything. We don't have a guarantee, but apparently it has been mentioned on one of the hunting sessions. Kieran jumped in and actually talked about this. So it is real. The Ranger has a pet Aluvial that they're taking around with them in the Overworld that's going to help them fight other Aluvials. You guys don't understand how crucial this is. Really think about it, okay? running around and attacking Aluvials is not actually that different to what we're doing right now. It's not actually that crazy. Like, the other thing is I somewhat expect them to be kind of easy. Right, to be honest, I mean, these games are never usually that hard. Power World was pretty easy. And then Pokemon Legends Arceus was really easy. That's actually quite close. But anyways. So I expect it to be pretty chill. But having your Aluvial in the overworld is so cool, especially when you start to evolve multiplayer elements. And if the Aluvial helps you fight, it means that they're probably going to make the combat somewhat difficult, where you might not be just be fighting like a ram fight. You might be fighting 3 Titanors and I don't know what you're fighting yet, but you're going to be fighting enough things that you need to have an Aluvial and send it out to fight with you. That being said, we also know the auto battler isn't leaving completely or anything like that. So maybe if you send out your Chukundi and it gets weakened during the fight, now it's not going to be usable in the auto battle and you're a little bit screwed. And so you might have to balance all these things. So you're adding some difficulty, some strategy. All these elements also make the game harder to bot and create scripts to automate these sorts of systems. So that's really exciting as well. I think that would actually be a really big deal for the hacks we've been seeing lately too. Just overworld engagement, combat, etc. So this is really hype. I love this. And I think this is going to be the big change that Illuvium needs to make it even more fun than it already is. At this point, I think we're going to get a lot of people coming and flooding in on the mainnet launch. But at this point, when I play the game, I'm having fun playing the game. That's what I care about most right now, is I just enjoy playing the game. If the game gets more fun, great, I'm happy. I get to play even more fun on the game, right? And that's really where my mind's going right now. Obviously, I want Illuvium to be a success, but I don't even care about that much anymore. I enjoy playing Illuvium, and I'm excited for whenever a new feature is added because I get to play and try something new. As long as they keep doing that, I think they're going to hold stickiness. They're going to hold retention better than any other crypto game has on the PC, at least. There have been some great mobile and browser experiences, but any proper PC, any full PC game has. It's going to be one of the top, if not the top crypto game. And I'm here for it. Have a good one, guys. And don't forget to tune in for next week. And if you